Hello and welcome to another episode of Up Close and Personal with Dinah Law. Today I'm joined here by Mariette Justine from Kota Kinabalu. Okay, today we will be discussing about the rewards and challenges in raising a child with special needs. Now, if you're a parent of a child with special needs, you are not alone, okay? It may feel like that at times, but trust me, you're not alone, okay? Before we proceed, allow me to briefly introduce Mariette. She is a full-time working mom in the banking industry. She is also a very doting mom and a very hands-on mom to her son, Neville. Okay, so without further ado, welcome Mariette to this episode of Up Close and Personal. I am so honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Dinah, for that introduction.
You're welcome. Please introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself.
Okay, it is my honor to be here and actually being interviewed for this session. It's quite surprising as well when I was asked to come in here. But okay, before we go on further, let me just introduce myself. As Tina has mentioned just now, I'm working in the banking industry. Yeah. It has been this is my 16th year actually working in the banking industry.
16 years in the same bank.
Years. Same bank, and I moved to other bank. It's yeah. My blood has turned to yellow. I don't think I can go.
Yellow and black.
Yes, yellow and black. Correct. Yeah, it's hard to move probably to other bank already because so accustomed to it already. So, and yeah, the 16 years in the bank, which I never thought I would basically imagine I would stay in the same workplace until now. So yeah, and Dina also mentioned I have a son, the only child as well, who just turned 12 last month, and he is a special kid, diagnosed with the ADHD, and yeah, it's been a journey for me, juggling as a working full-time, juggling between a full-time working mom and also handling with a special need child. So yeah.
So just for the benefit of others, ADHD stands for?
Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mariette.
Yes.
Okay, so at what point did you discover that Neville had special needs? Who do you speak to? Who do you consult with? And where do you look for information?
I believe those who have heard ADHD before, because for me it's like, when we see kids like running around, jumping around, climbing around, we will think like, normal, all this.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, they will outgrow the things and everything.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, not until a kindergarten teacher was telling me, where Neville, it is not about his hyperactivity, it's more like his working in a group. Certain things like, like when they were assigned in a group work, he was more like become like Mando, like that. Like what I say Mando is like observing. He was just observing them.
Okay.
He will go to one group, but he's not doing it.
Oh.
So the teacher was a bit concerned. They were saying, we have this a person coming to the school, probably you want to talk to that person, but that person did not turn up. But then they gave me the number. Okay. It was a long process basically because it took me a while to basically go to that person because they were telling me she's a speech therapist. So I'm like, okay. Speech therapist. But then I went to see her anyway.
Yeah.
So from there, it was like I was referred because she was not the person I'm not supposed to see. But she detected from the time I went to see her, because while we were talking, I was telling her what was the issues. She saw from Neville's drawing, it was like, hang on. At a point in time, Neville was 7. No, he was 5. 5 years old. Sorry, 6, 5, kindergarten.
Yeah.
1. So she was making a comment. At this age, they're supposed to be drawing like full picture, but he was drawing hangman. So I was like, okay, but that was that was like his own capacity to draw a hangman line, like I'm not a good artist also. So I was like, okay, but never mind. She was asking another person. So from there, it was like referred to. Then we were finally referred from that speech therapist, family therapist slash another speech therapist, because Neville is not having any impaired speech issues, you see.
Right.
So, but we were referred to another person to deal with the behavior wise.
Uh-huh.
So, because being an ADHD kids, they have certain behavior that we need to deal with. So that comes into help. And after that, we were referred to another, to a government hospital where we went to see a child psychiatrist, and that's how it goes lah. It was a long process anyway, because he has to go through IQ tests to make sure that his IQ, how is it, and then only we were referred to a specific person. Yeah, that's how it started.
Okay, so that was he was then officially diagnosed about 5 years ago, is it?
Yeah, when we were finally referred to the head of the psychiatrist who was based in Bukit Padang at that point of time, that's when, because she was reading all the reports and everything, and that's what she was saying, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's how he has been diagnosed. Yeah.
Okay. So in KK, right, in Kota Kinabalu, so there are like expertise there to actually help with the diagnosis, lah, in your opinion? I mean,
I wouldn't say exclusively that you have to go to, because this is by referral, you see. So you need to be sure that, you need to be comfortable with the person as well. I mean, for me, it's because this is new to me, you see. I was actually doing my own research, what entails ADHD. I have to see it, my son, and how is he behaving at home, at school and everything. So in terms of diagnosis and everything, I mean, to those, because the person who was diagnosing him was like, he's been dealing with kids all along. Yeah. So, but yeah, the person is not here anymore. He's been transferred to KL.
Okay. So as a parent, I can relate that we would naturally feel very protective over our kids, right? So how did you feel when he was first diagnosed with ADHD?
Well, I think most parents, if you have this condition, first thing will be overwhelmed, and you'll be feeling like, how can, like you'll be wondering where, how this thing happened,
Yeah.
But above all that, I think the thing that all parents need to do is to accept, and it doesn't mean that they're like that, you can't raise the kids like that. So it's overwhelming at first, and I won't lie that I was like denying it, because I was doing some of the questionnaire things, like, it described a lot of things that what Neville is going through, and finally I was like, hey, he basically has all the symptoms. It's overwhelming, honestly.
Overwhelmed and also in denial at first.
Because you'll be wondering, you don't know, you don't have anybody that you can relate to, how to get help, except for you going to the specialist or the person who really dealt with this. You don't have family who dealt, like really, really sit beside you, okay, this is what you need to do, and things like that. Yeah, that's the overwhelming things that I was feeling, because there was too much things are happening at work, and then suddenly you got this news.
Yes.
I see. Hard. Yeah.
Okay. I understand that kids with special needs, generally they need a fixed routine.
Yeah.
So how does a typical day look like for you and your son?
Okay. Of course, during the school days and everything, we have our routines, and of course, school holidays, I will have a leeway where he can do anything and everything. Okay, but normally the routine that we have for like for Neville, he will be like, sleeping time will be like fixed. Okay, it will be fixed like certain time. Otherwise, the next day will be haywire, and I can see a lot of things, a little bit unstable in terms of his emotion and everything. So the sleep, for me, it is the sleeping routine, personally for me. Yeah, for him. Yeah. That will be the things that I need to have, because
Okay.
yeah.
So what time does he wake up during the day? I mean, like in the mornings, do you send him to school yourself, and how do you
Yeah.
handle that? Like, do you have then you send him to school, then you go to work, and how is your typical day like?
He 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 normally sleep, the latest will be at 10, okay? 10 or 10:30. So he wakes up at 6, take shower, then breakfast. We leave school by 6:45. I will send him to school. So he reach school about 7 or 7:10, like that. Yeah.
Right.
But he must have at least like, he has to be more than 6 hours of sleep lah. Otherwise he'll be like groggy, because he doesn't take nap in the afternoon now. He
Okay.
doesn't take any nap unless he's on a school break and everything lah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that will be the routine. That is for me lah, for my own personal. That is how the routine looks like. They will need like a specific time to sleep during the week school period lah, I would say.
Okay. So
Yeah,
sleep is very, very important.
yeah, sleep would be very important. Sleep.
Okay. So it's been 5 years, right, since he was diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
Children with special needs tend to find themselves having trouble focusing, processing their feelings, transitioning to new environments, right, and
Yes.
sleeping and more. As a parent, how do you cope with all of these? Can you share with us so that others can benefit from it too?
Okay. Initially it was hard because nobody would understand how a special need kid go through. You know what?
You you felt
Yeah.
alone?
Yes, I felt alone because people expect certain things. Like, oh, they couldn't understand, because when never looks like normal. You see, when I say normal, it's just like you wouldn't
Yes.
even think he has ADHD. It's just
Yes.
people think like, oh, too hyper. He doesn't know how to
Yes.
control emotion, but people doesn't look beyond it. You see, so
Yes.
it's quite difficult at first. Especially when you want to make people understand.
Yeah.
He's like that because of the condition and everything,
Right.
but at the same time you will having feedback, don't use that as excuse to, you're going to be pampered him, a lot of things, a lot. But I think, yeah, a lot. There's a lot to take in, because when you make, it's hard to make people understand unless they themselves, have, you feel it and experience it, you see.
Understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing is your family support. I think that's the
Okay.
core of it,
Yes.
because they are with my parents most of the time. So
Okay.
they need to understand that in order for me, because otherwise bringing him into therapy, and I mean, that would be a waste of time. You see, if you don't have a strong support at home and you bring him therapies, and then it doesn't balance, it doesn't jive all the things, you see. So family support for me is, it's one thing that you really need to have. Okay, because when your family understand the situation, they know how to handle when things happen at home when I'm not around. They know how to manage it, not just probably just scolding and then let things, because ADHD kids tend to have tantrum, temper,
Okay. Yeah.
meltdown, and if you're not careful with it, it will turn something else. You see?
Okay.
Yeah. So apart from family support, I also turn to natural alternative, because if I have not mentioned this, my son has actually medicated basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At the age of 7, when he was diagnosed, the psychiatrist was basically telling, like, to help him focus well and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you take, because they were prescribing medication, and I was not really comfortable about it,
Yeah.
because I didn't know any better. You see, you,
Yeah.
you only you only receive all this advice, and when they say, it's gonna be a long hurdle,
Yeah.
that's what they were saying, and we want to cut it short and help you in the shortest period that we can. So medication it is. It was hard
Uh,
decision. It was hard decision, and I was contemplating it. You see, like I was just, and my husband came down to go and see the psychiatrist as well, and we were like, we were not comfortable, to put it that way. But after discussing and everything, this is for his own good because he needs to be in school, you see.
Yeah.
Hyperactive kids, if you don't sit, you know how in a classroom where you have about 40 kids in a classroom, one kid not listening and everything is going to disrupt the class. See? So in order for him to really paying attention, so I said the doctor was prescribing this medication just to help him focus and things like that. But the downside of it is it's not good. Like he was having this nausea feeling every time he takes it. Yeah. Not only that, at the age, because he was taking it for a long term, all the time he was like complaining headaches, the downside of it. So it will suppress his appetite. He's not eating during recess. He won't buy. He eats because he saw his friends are buying, but then he's not really hungry. So yeah, but his weight gain and everything, there's no issue. He's still eating, but post medication, then only his appetite start to pick up. But during that period, it pity like, when you send to school, he can't even have breakfast like normal kids. When they will have breakfast, like for him, he's not taking breakfast. So I was like desperate to get another alternative. You see, so I was coping apart from the family support and all that. I was looking for natural alternative, and I come across this aromatherapy because I was reading on the internet. It comes through, and one oil that come basically in my mind was that was actually being shown was a vetiver oil. Okay, if nobody knows what it's basically a plant based. It's vetiver is from the plant based in India, and there's a lot of benefit in it, and that's what I come across with the oils and how it helped to support comes vetiver, and that's how I started looking for natural alternative to help support his focus and to help support his tantrum, temper, all those things, because I'm using all this to help him, because he himself is not able to process that feelings, okay? He doesn't even know, he cannot express his feelings, believe it or not, he's not able to express. So with this natural alternative that I have, it's basically a little bit, slowly to help him basically calm him down, help him to focus, and yeah, to cope with certain things that he's not able to cope. Yeah.
And how about yourself? How do you cope?
Well, I tend to, yeah, the same thing as well. I'm glad I have friends around to help me, apart from family, to share all these challenges with me. And my son is not the only one benefiting from the aromatherapy, because I'm also using it, as a caregiver, as a mom, as a parent. I need to stay sane, all this. It's not easy, you can lose yourself in the midst of all this chaotic. I would say it's chaotic because work is one thing, and then you come home with this. And for me to just unwind is basically because I have a diffuser and at home, and the only thing I would grab, just a simple thing, is just diffuse my lavender inside it, and I can be at peace, with myself, and it helps because you yourself have to be calm in order to basically handle this kind of situation. It's not easy. Honestly, it's not easy. Yeah.
And how long have you been using this aromatherapy?
It's been 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years. Yeah. So along the way, and I have been using this not only to support Neville's emotions, also his wellness. Okay, for me really, yeah, because when he was smaller, he used to be admitted at least twice a year.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was not easy, not knowing natural alternative. You depending on medications that it cannot nip the bud. You see, like you just can't. You basically have to depend and give. That's how it is. It's been so long. I wish I knew all this natural alternative during my time. Those days. But yeah. But
what would you mentioned that he used to be hospitalized twice a year? For what? What would he What was he hospitalized for?
It could stemming from, you see, when he's smaller, immunity is not that good, you see, for a child, unless you been using like honestly, for me, he doesn't take any supplements when he was smaller as well.
Okay.
And it could stem from just things like cough, flu, and then it turns out to fever. So when he was hospitalized, it's more like that, when high fever.
Yeah.
And me and my husband was like, having first child and everything. We don't know how, so we would like refer the hospital would be like, okay, we were like agreeing to admitting him because there was somebody there for us, rather than being at home, we don't know what to do.
Okay.
So, yeah. And apart from that, the fever and everything, it was like some other stuff I couldn't remember, but it was like when he was turning 1 up to 3 years old, it was like yearly admission, like at least twice a year. Yeah.
Okay.
It was that terrible.
And I'm sure that you also use it to support your immune and your wellness as well, right? Because we need you to be healthy, right? So that you can care for your child. Okay.
Not only keeping me sane, but to be healthy as well.
Yeah, that's very important. Okay.
Yeah.
So next question for you. With challenges, there are always rewards too, right? Mm-hmm. So what is your biggest gain from this journey?
The biggest gain would be there is always hope, okay? And then it leads me to self-discovery. And when I say self-discovery it's in terms of knowing how I should react in certain things, because dealing with special need kids is not always easy. Mm-hmm. I tend to forget that my son has ADHD because he looks that normal, you see.
Yeah, I've met him too, and it's you can't tell. Yeah.
People will be like, huh, he has ADHD. So yeah, I tend to forget. And it's that self-discovery in a way that how I talk to him and certain things are dealt with this, because the way that we've been raised and everything is different. And when you see therapists and the way they handle things, it's different. So yeah, I think it's more to self-discovery and how I handle. I mean, it's probably God telling me, okay, this is how you supposed. Yeah, it's more to self-discovery. That's what I gain actually. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So you're more calm now and more composed.
Yes. No, a bit, I can be kanchiong, but I know how to handle it now. Yeah. Okay. I know what to grab for if I'm like overwhelmed, or I can just, rather than, like everywhere, like, I don't know what to do, things like that, right now I said, okay, I can just grab this oil and just, be in the moment. Okay, I can go with it, things like that. Yeah.
So I just want to backtrack a bit. You mentioned that he was medicated before you actually
yes,
went into the world of aromatherapy. So how about now? Does he still take some kind of medication or none at all?
He totally stopped last year.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's great. Okay.
It was on and off because it was on and off, like we do a trial and see how it goes and everything, like during the day, and it doesn't really help him, you see. It's more like the way we manage the situation rather than depending on the medication for him to be quiet.
Okay, understand.
It makes him timid and not thinking. So when he's without it, he's more aware of what he's doing.
Yeah. That's great. That's a big achievement as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on to my last question for you, Mariette. In your opinion and based on your experience, what advice do you have for parents who are raising children with special needs, or who suspects that their children might be, or their child or their children have special needs?
Okay, first thing first, do not be afraid to go for a a diagnosis or a test. I know for some they would probably thinking, nah, won't have it. And the same, I must admit, I think I did not basically do what I needed to do earlier at this age, you see, because I think a lot of things are going on in my work, and I tend to prolong the process, and that's what happened. I think early intervention would be better, okay? And that would be the first. Do not be scared to go for a test, because the test might, reveal the whole thing. And it might not, but just go for it.
Yeah.
Second thing, if let's say you got the diagnosis and everything, I think the blaming game shouldn't be there. Where did he get this? I don't have this in my family. I mean, that's normal, because when we see a therapist, we will ask this question: who in the family was like,
where did he get this from?
Exactly. I was like, nothing like my family. I think that shouldn't be there, because I think that would create more tension for the spouses and everything.
For the family.
Yes, for the family, and because it's a gift from God. You see, how can you be siding? Where does it come from and everything? It comes from both sides anyway, right? So it's hard to track back, who has it in the family and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't be, if you are diagnosed, if your kids are diagnosed with any kind of, be it whatever condition, try to accept it and try to go for the nearest help that you can for aromatherapy, for any kind of therapy that you have nearby at your place. Okay. And then if you can, if you know any natural alternative, like I actually come across, would like to know, how you could help settle your kids, for your routine, and also for the parents, caregiver. There are always help out there. You see? Always help out there. And I'm glad that I stumbled upon the aromatherapy, because it's not only about helping your kids, it's helping your caregiver, helping yourself to basically handle the situation. It's stressful. Trust me, it's not easy. And these are the things that probably you need to look out, if you, a parent, you suspect, or your kids being a special needs. Okay.
Thank you, Mariette. And thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. And if anyone would like to connect with you, how can they reach you on social media?
They can go to my Facebook page. It's Citrine Essential. CITRINE Essential. Okay.
Yeah.
You can reach out to me in my personal Facebook as well, Mariette Justine, or you can go to my IG as well. The name is there. I don't use other names. Okay. You can just reach out to me either of these three platforms. If you want to ask more questions and how best that you want to deal with the situation, I will try to help in any way that I could.
Thank you, Mariette. Thank you so much. Okay, and good luck in your journey, and know that you're not alone as well, right? You have us and the community, our community to reach out to. And okay, so thank you, Mariette, and goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.